Hello and welcome to the Outlook web app tutorial. Through this tutorial I'm going to show you the basics of our Outlook web app, and to log into that we start by opening Internet Explorer and we go to the URL, which is mail.iamtgc.net. That takes us to our login page. For the username you enter your first initial last name and then your password. And this will take you to the main email page. From this page, there's a few things I want to point out first before we actually send an email. Is the navigation bar. Up at the top, Outlook takes you back to the main page where you can view your mail. Calendar obviously takes you to calendar. People takes you to your contacts. And the other important one is Sites, which takes you to the local intranet. And from there you can choose Team Site and have access to the local intranet from there. To get back to your mail from the local intranet, you choose Outlook Mail, which is in the left-hand column, and that takes you back. A couple other things I want to show you on the navigation bar are your options to sign out, which is under your name. The Help section, which is the question mark. So if you have any questions, you can ask them there, and the database is pretty extensive. You should be able to get an answer for any issues you're having with Outlook there. And then the Settings button, which is the little gear. If you click that, inside there are your options, and this is where I'm going to show you a couple options before we get started. So under Options, if you go to Settings, this is where you can set your signature. Under Settings, you would enter your signature in here, which you can see I already have mine. And then you would want to tick this button, this checkbox that says automatically include my signature on messages I send. This will send your signature, attach your signature to the end of every email that you send. Also, another thing to have checked is always show the BCC, the blind carbon copy. Before you exit out of here, make sure you hit Save, and then you can hit Back, and that will take you back to the main mail system. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to send an email. Make sure you're on the Outlook button from the navigation bar, and at that point you'll see New Mail on the left hand side. Click New Mail. It'll bring up the form for the new email. In the To section, I could start to type Sean's name. You'll see that it auto-populates. That is because I've actually sent an email to Sean. If I'm sending an email to somebody that I've never sent an email before, it won't auto-populate, and then I would have to search contacts and directory, which would then show the names here. So in this case, I'm going to select Sean. We're going to name it Test Email and put some information in here. Now at this point I could insert an attachment by clicking Insert and add an attachment, or I could add my signature, but as you can see, because I checked that checkbox in the previous step, my signature is already there. So in this case I'm going to hit Send. The email will get sent and go to my sent items, and Sean will receive the email. And at this time Sean's going to reply to that email, so you can see an incoming email as well. And there's the reply from Sean. You'll see that it pops up here. When you have a new mail message, you'll get this new mail notification on the navigation bar as well. So I have a couple ways of opening it. I can click it once just to preview it on the right hand side, or I can double click it to open the email. Either way, I have the options to reply, reply all, forward, or delete from these screens. So I can do all of those functions here, or I can double click it and I still have all of those functions here as well. In this case I'm just going to delete it. I could also drag and drop to delete, but in this case I'm just going to click the X to delete, and it sends it to my deleted items. The deleted items you can empty by right clicking and choosing Empty Folder. Next, I'll show you how to create a contact. So if you choose People under the navigation bar, that'll take you to your contact list. Everybody that's listed here is in my personal contact list, not in the global list. A couple ways I can add a contact. From here I can click New, and that will give me the option to create a contact or create a group. In this case I'm going to create a contact, and then I could physically type in everything. So this would be a manual way of putting in a contact. In this instance I'm going to disregard that, and I'm going to do a search for Sean. Now you notice it's searching both my contacts and the directory. I could search both of those or either one of them individually. In this case, Sean is already in my address book, so I can't technically, I could add him again, but I want to show you another way to add it. So if I typed in a different name for somebody that's not in my address book, watch over here, you'll notice that I have the option to add them to contacts if they're not in my personal contacts. So now with this one, I could click Add to Contacts, and I would add that to my personal contacts. This is pulling from the main directory at this point, where you see Melanie and Melanie are in my contacts already, so I don't have that option. Okay, the next thing I will show you is the calendar option. So if you click Calendar, that will take you to the main view of the calendar. From here we have different options of viewing our calendar. I'm viewing in month view. You can view it in week, work week, and day as well. I'm going to go back to month view, and I'm going to first of all show you how to create an additional calendar. Right now I only have one, so I'm going to right click My Calendars and choose New Calendar, which will give me the option to add a new calendar for myself. And then to view the calendar, you click it and you put a check mark in there to view the calendar, and it views it in an overlay. For instance, if I was to create an event, which I'm going to do now for myself, if I double click into tomorrow, that'll open up a new form. Make a test appointment for tomorrow. This is just for myself, so I'm not going to add any attendees. I'll make it an all-day event. I'll click Save, and you'll see that test appointment. Now that is on the test calendar. So you can see if I check this test calendar to show the overlay, it shows them all together. And I can uncheck accordingly and check accordingly. Now back to the test calendar. For this event, I'm actually going to, first of all, I'm going to share my calendar. Both of these options kind of overlap each other, sharing the calendar and appointments. So I'm going to share my test calendar with Sean. I right click it by choose Share Calendar. Type Sean's name. And just under Sean's, just to the right of Sean's name, you'll see I have different options for permissions. I can give him full details, or I can allow him to be the editor. In this case, I'm just going to leave it as full details and click Send. That will send Sean an email inviting him to my calendar. Once he gets that, he will accept it. And then if I right click the test calendar and go under Permissions, you should see who I've actually shared my calendar with. So you'll see Sean's name under there, and you'll see the permissions that are assigned to him. Okay. Also take note that the calendars under My Calendar are now color-coded. I have a blue calendar for myself, and the test calendar is green. So two things I'm going to show you here is how to delete an event. I'm going to click the test event, and if I just single left click it, I can delete or edit it. And in this case, I'm going to right click it and delete it. It'll delete that event. And then I'm going to delete the calendar as well. So I'm going to right click the calendar and delete the calendar as well, and it's gone. Now I'm going to have Sean invite me to a calendar so you can see what that looks like on my end. So Sean will actually create a calendar just as we did, and then send an invite to that, which I'll get an email. As you can see, it just popped in. There's my notification. I can either click this or click Outlook. In this case, I'm going to click Outlook and go back. Go to my email. There's a test appointment from Sean. I can preview it here. Now I have a couple options. I can accept, I can mark it as tentative, or I can decline. Each of them gives me 3 different options. I can accept and send a response telling Sean that I accept his request. I can choose don't send a response, which would accept the invite to the calendar but not send Sean a response. Or I can edit the response before sending, which means it'll pop up a new email allowing me to put a custom message back to Sean. But in this case, I'm just going to accept, and each of those have the same options, tentative and decline. I'm going to choose accept, and then don't send the response, so I'm just going to accept the request. You'll see it deletes the email directly from my inbox. Now if I go back to calendar and refresh,
yeah.
Okay, so we had the last thing that was sent to me was actually an appointment rather than a calendar. We're going to get back to that appointment in a second. The calendar, which will be in my Outlook, to accept that, here you'll see the invite to the calendar. I can choose Add Calendar, and that will add the calendar under other calendars. Okay? So now I have the shared calendar that Sean has shared with me. And Sean's going to send me another invite so we can go through another invite meeting request in a moment. But first I'm going to send him a request for a meeting first. So we're going to delete this one and start over with that one. Okay, so currently I'm viewing my calendar and the calendar that's been shared by Sean. And just like the others, I can check and uncheck them to show them. Okay. Now if I wanted to remove this, I can right click it. I can actually change the color here as well, but I can remove this and it will delete that from my calendars. So now I'm going to share an event or an invite to a meeting with Sean. So I'm on the calendar. I'll double click tomorrow. First I'm going to create the event for myself, just to show you how you can actually edit it. And we're not going to make it an all-day appointment. We're going to make it an hour appointment, starting at, let's say, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And it'll give me a reminder 15 minutes beforehand. It's going to put it on my default calendar and repeat. Right now we're going to say never. I have options to make it repeat every day, every Friday, every work day. You have a bunch of different options here for repeating. If I choose other, it's more of a custom. I can say repeat it how many weeks and how many days. But for now, we're just going to leave it as never. I'm going to create the event. And you'll see that test event is just for me. Now nobody can see that yet, but I'm going to invite Sean to this test meeting by double clicking it. Now I have the option to edit it, which is what I'm going to do. And attendees, I could add Sean just by typing his name, clicking his name. And then I could also choose scheduling assistant, which would allow me to view my schedule and Sean's schedule for that proposed meeting. Okay. And then from here I'm going to click send. It'll send Sean a meeting request. And then he'll have the opportunity, like I spoke of a moment ago, to accept, tentative, or decline with all of those options. There's his response. If I go to my email, I'll be able to see Sean's his accepting. And at this time I could reply or delete or forward this as well. I'm not going to choose. I'm choosing to do none of that right now. But now, if I click this event, you'll see that one person accepted. It was the only person that I invited. and I could still go back and add it and add people as well. If I make a change and invite somebody else, it'll update Sean with an email saying that those were changed. Okay, in this case I'm just going to close that because I don't need to make any changes to that. And now, okay, so for now I'm going to cancel this meeting. And now it says, are you sure you want to cancel this meeting? Yes, I'm sure. And this is going to send a cancellation message to Sean. So I'm going to leave it a generic. Actually, I'll type something in here. Sean. And hit send. That'll remove the event from my calendar and send a message to Sean saying that the meeting was canceled. And now Sean is going to send me an invite so you can see what that looks like on my end, which is what we went through originally. So you'll actually be able to see that again. There's Sean's test appointment. I can click this to view it or go to Outlook to view it. And then again, I have those options for accept, tentative, and decline. When a calendar invite is sent, you only have the option to add that to the calendar. The accept, tentative, and decline are for appointment requests. In this case, since I accepted the last one, I'm going to decline this one. Same thing, have all the same options. I'm going to send, I'm going to send a response, which sends a generic response, and you'll see it doesn't put it on my calendar at that point because I declined the event. Okay, this has been just a basic rundown of the basics of Outlook web app. If you'd like more information and for more detailed documentation, if you go to the intranet and go to Manual and Policies, and underneath that category there is an IT support category, and there you'll find documentation which is a little more thorough, a little more in-depth on using Outlook web app as well as some other IT documentation. So if you have any additional questions or any problems using Outlook web app, you can submit a support ticket by visiting support@iamtgc.net. That's support.iamtgc.net. Thank you.